for the fans. The glory for the pinstripes.
What if the Yankees' most valuable asset is also their single biggest trade chip this offseason? There's a deal on the table that's either a stroke of genius or a historic mistake. If you want to understand the risk and the reward, subscribe now because we're breaking it all down in this video. What's up, Yanks Nation? Welcome back to Yankees Fan Central, your one-stop shop for the real news and sharpest analysis on our Bronx Bombers. It's your host, and today, we're diving deep into a story that's burning up the back channels at Yankee Stadium. As the off-season hot stove starts to glow, an unexpected name is generating serious buzz, not just in New York, but across the whole league. We're talking about a guy who wasn't on anyone's radar to start the season, but who exploded onto the scene and has now become one of the most coveted assets in our organization. I'm talking, of course, about Ben Rice. According to extremely credible sources, like the respected John Heyman of the New York Post, Brian Cashman's phone has been ringing off the hook, and the name on every executive's lips is our versatile first baseman and catcher. Teams from all over Major League Baseball are calling. They're kicking the tires, trying to figure out what the price tag would be to pry this young talent out of the Bronx. It's a fascinating situation, especially when you remember the context of this year for our young guys. We saw Austin Wells and Anthony Volpe, despite both hitting 20 home runs, go through up-and-down seasons, struggling to find consistency. We saw Oswald Peraza, a piece once considered a core part of our future, get dealt and finish the year on the other coast. Amidst those uncertainties, Ben Rice emerged as a force, a revelation that nobody saw coming. He didn't grace the covers of prospect magazines. He wasn't at the top of national lists, but his performance on the field spoke louder than any ranking ever could. And now, that breakout performance has put him squarely in the spotlight, forcing our front office into a crucial decision about his future, and by extension, the future of the pinstripes. The league-wide interest in Ben Rice isn't a fluke. It's the direct result of a deep dive into his analytics and what they project for his future. When you look past the box score and get into the advanced metrics, his value becomes crystal clear. According to StatCast, Rice's expected batting average, XBA, was .299, a number that puts him in the 96th percentile of the entire MLB. That means, based on the quality of his contact, the exit velocity and launch angle of the ball off the bat, he performed at an elite level, comparable to the very best hitters in the game. But it doesn't stop there. His expected slugging percentage, IXSLG, was a staggering .581, placing him in the 97th percentile. In simple terms, this tells us he wasn't just making quality contact, he was making game-changing contact with the power to drive the ball for extra bases. His average exit velocity, barrel rate, and hard hit rates were also consistently in the high 90s. These aren't lucky numbers. They are the markers of an elite hitter in the making, and that's exactly what other teams are seeing. They don't just see a player who had a nice rookie year. They see a left-handed bat with years of team control, who possesses a rare combination of plate discipline and raw power. On top of all that, there's the defensive versatility factor. While he played primarily first base for the Yanks, we can't forget that Rice was drafted as a catcher. He has 121 games behind the dish in the minors under his belt, and the Yankees' own catching coordinator Tanner Swanson has gone on record saying he views Rice as a viable big-league catcher. In a league with a chronic shortage of quality catchers, especially ones who can hit, that ability adds a massive layer to his trade value. Teams needy at first base or catcher or both look at Ben Rice and see a long-term, cheap, high-upside solution. That's why the interest is so intense and so widespread. Faced with this situation, the Yankees find themselves in a classic strategic bind. The general rule in baseball is that you don't trade young, productive, and controllable players, unless it's for a generational talent or to fill a critical hole with a proven superstar. Yankees history gives us a fascinating parallel, the Alfonso Soriano case. In the early 2000s, Soriano was an electric young second baseman, a fan favorite, and a budding star. However, when the opportunity to acquire Alex Rodriguez, arguably the best player in the world at the time, presented itself, Brian Cashman didn't hesitate to include Soriano in the package. It was a trade of a future all-star for a reigning MVP in his prime. If the Yankees are to even consider dealing Rice, the return would have to be of that magnitude. We're not talking about a package of prospects. We're talking about an immediate impact player, a name that changes the franchise's trajectory. Another example from across town in Flushing was Mike Jacobs with the Mets. Jacobs was a lefty-hitting power bat, similar to Rice, who had a brilliant debut in 2005. The Mets capitalized on his sky-high value and used him as the centerpiece to acquire all-star first baseman Carlos Delgado. These historical precedents set the bar for what kind of deal it would take to justify moving Ben Rice. If the Yankees move this piece, it won't be for scraps. The big question is, what need would be so pressing? Could it be a top-of-the-rotation ace to solidify the staff behind Garrett Cole? Or maybe a superstar outfielder if negotiations to retain Juan Soto go south? The fact is, by refusing to trade Rice, the Yankees are sending a clear message to the league. The price is astronomical, and they place immense value on what they have in-house. The reality is, as tempting as the idea of acquiring a big-name star might be, the Yankees may already have the solution to one of their most unstable positions right here. First base has been a source of concern. Anthony Rizzo, while a clubhouse leader, has seen his production decline and has battled injuries. DJ LeMahieu, another option for the position, is also getting older and dealing with his own physical setbacks. Ben Rice, with his left-handed stick and power potential, fits perfectly as the future, and perhaps the present, of first base at Yankee Stadium. Trading away your long-term, cheap, high-potential solution at that position would be a massive gamble. Sure, the free agent market offers names like Pete Alonso and Josh Naylor, but both would come with an exorbitant price tag. Alonso, in particular, will command a massive contract that could hamstring the Yankees' payroll flexibility for years to come. Why spend hundreds of millions of dollars on an outside player when you have a homegrown talent like Rice, who has shown an equally high ceiling and will cost a fraction of the price for the next several years? Keeping Rice means securing stability at first base, allowing the front office to focus its financial resources on other areas of need, like the starting rotation or a Soto extension. Trading him means creating one hole to plug another, a cycle that often leaves teams worse off. Brian Cashman's reluctance to even seriously entertain a trade for Rice is understandable and, in my view, the correct stance. He represents the exact type of player that winning organizations build around: homegrown talents who outperform expectations and become foundational pieces of the roster. PT. A notícia principal é clara. Ben Rice passou de uma grata surpresa a um dos ativos mais valiosos dos Yankees. A diretoria está, corretamente, tratando-o como uma peça quase intocável, a menos que uma oferta irrecusável por um superastro comprovado apareça. A decisão de mantê-lo solidifica o futuro da primeira base e preserva um dos melhores jovens rebatedores que surgiram em nosso sistema nos últimos anos. Agora, eu pergunto a vocês, Bleacher Creatures e toda a Yankees Nation, qual é a sua posição? O que vocês fariam se estivessem no lugar de Brian Cashman? Manteriam Ben Rice a todo custo, acreditando que ele é o futuro da primeira base, ou o usariam como a principal moeda de troca para buscar um grande nome, como um arremessador de elite? Deixem seus comentários abaixo. Quero saber a opinião de cada um de vocês. N. The headline is clear. Ben Rice has gone from a pleasant surprise to one of the Yankees' most valuable assets. The front office is, correctly, treating him as a nearly untouchable piece, unless an undeniable blockbuster offer for a proven superstar materializes. The decision to hold on to him solidifies the future of first base and preserves one of the best young hitters to come through our system in recent years. Now, I'll turn it over to you, the Bleacher Creatures, and all of Yanks Nation. Where do you stand on this? What would you do if you were in Brian Cashman's shoes? Would you hold on to Ben Rice at all costs, believing he's the future at first? Or would you use him as the ultimate trade chip to go after a huge name, like an ace pitcher? Drop your comments below. I want to hear what every single one of you thinks. Se você valoriza análises diretas e informações rápidas sobre os nossos New York Yankees, certifique-se de se inscrever no canal e ativar as notificações. Assim, você não perde nenhuma novidade dos nossos pinstripers. And if you appreciate no-nonsense analysis and the fastest news on our New York Yankees, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss a single update on our pinstripes.